To Melbourne, where Treasurer Josh Frydenberg is speaking to the media about the release of that final productivity report into superannuation.
Have greater powers to revoke the authorisation of underperforming my super funds, and ensuring that there are civil and criminal penalties for trustees who break the law and don't serve the interests of members. This is a landmark report that's been produced by the Productivity Commission, and they should be congratulated for it. The government will carefully consider its findings in this 1,000-page report and will await the final report from the Banking Royal Commission, which has also looked at the performance, or particularly the conduct of future funds, and also has looked at the performance of regulators. So we will await the final Banking Royal Commission report before finalising our response to this Productivity Commission report. Are there any questions?
Are you expecting any pushback from the super industry, and how do you plan to deal with that? This isn't just a fight with Labor.
Well, this is not about unions, this is not about industry funds, this is not about retail funds. This is about putting the interests of the 15 million Australians who have superannuation first. We want to put the interest of members first. I'm not interested in the politics of the superannuation industry. I'm interested in the benefits that flow to members. So we will consult with relevant stakeholders. We will no doubt see a public debate about this particular report, but what we are focused on is delivering a better result to superannuation members across the country.
The Property Council survey shows confidence in the industry is at its lowest since September 2020.
Is there any other questions on superannuation?
Just on that, so does the government support stronger intervention in the super sector to safeguard people's self-managed funds?
Well, we strongly support the self-managed super fund sector. This is allowing people the right to choose, and it should be encouraged. It's the Labor Party who are taxing those with self-managed super funds with their new retirees tax. It's the Labor Party is targeting those people who are taking personal responsibility to save for their own retirement. We strongly support the self-managed super fund sector, and we want to see it grow, and we obviously want to ensure that all those who set up their self-managed super funds are properly acquainted with the rules and are fully aware of how the system operates and their obligations.
On the issue of independent directors on boards, the Productivity Commission has said that arguing only about the number of independent directors on boards loses sight of what matters. They've said that getting the right mix of knowledge, skills and experience is more important. Does this show that the government's focus on getting rid of union figures is misguided?
We've always been focused on delivering a better outcome for superannuation members, and as the Productivity Commission has said, getting the best skill set onto these boards. That's been our motivation. And of course, the Productivity Commission has made important observations in that regard.
Does the government plan to put the superannuation legislation before Parliament?
Well, we have important superannuation legislation currently before the Parliament that Labor is sadly not supporting. And for the life of me, I can't understand why the Labor Party's not supporting greater civil and criminal penalties on trustees who break the law. I can't understand why the Labor Party doesn't want the Australian Tax Office to consolidate low balance accounts. For the life of me, I can't understand why the Labor Party doesn't want to see an additional $1.9 billion in the pockets of superannuation members by ensuring that they don't get inappropriate insurance through super. These are the reforms that we are putting in, including empowering APRA with the ability to revoke the authorisation for underperforming my super funds. So these reforms are designed to put the interests of members first. The Labor Party is playing funny games, and they're certainly not siding with the interests of the member.
Is the government prepared to negotiate with Labor if it's the difference between getting some of that legislation through before the next election and getting none of it?
Well, Labor has to explain why they don't support the legislation as it is. That's the clear point. It's particularly after we've seen from today's report that the Productivity Commission, which is an independent expert authority, saying strongly that these reforms should be supported. I mean, it's unequivocal in the report that these reforms should be supported because they're in the best interest of the members. So I don't know why the Labor Party is ignoring consumer advocates, why the Labor Party is ignoring independent economists, and why the Labor Party seems to be ignoring the Productivity Commission.
Just on the Saudi team.
Any more questions on super?
When will the Australian government be making a decision on her case?
Well, as has been said by my ministerial colleagues, we have a referral from the United Nations, and that is now being referred to the Department of Home Affairs, which is considering it.
Any idea of the timeline?
You'd have to ask the minister responsible, David Coleman, but we are considering this referral that's come across from the United Nations.
Just back to that question on the Property Council survey that shows the need for good policy decisions in this area. What does the coalition plan to do to improve optimism in property?
Well, the Property Council, who you quote, are very critical of the Labor Party's policy to abolish negative gearing as we know it and to increase the capital gains tax by 50%. And this is because this is bad policy from the Labor Party, policy that is designed to send the value of people's homes down and to send the cost of rents up. That's the impact of Labor's policy. And Labor designed this policy at a time when property prices were going up. Now property prices have come down for more than 12 consecutive months. It's a desperate tax grab from a Labor Party that doesn't understand the property market and is not heeding the warnings from independent economists. What is embarrassing for the Labor Party is that their front benches can't even get their lines straight. You have Chris Bowen and Bill Shorten saying that this policy is designed to send prices down. You have the shadow finance minister who's gone missing in this debate, Jim Chalmers, saying that prices will go up under Labor's policy. And then you have poor old Joel Fitzgibbon saying prices will neither go up nor down. So the front benches of the Labor Party can't even get their lines straight. But what we also don't know from the Labor Party is what is the start date for their signature policy. They seem to be hedging their bets on this particular issue, and if it doesn't start, as they say, in 2019, if they were to win government, then this would blow a $6 billion hole in their budget numbers. So the Labor Party have a policy that's shambolic. The Labor Party have a policy that is designed to hurt homeowners, a policy that is designed to hurt renters, a policy that has been slammed by the industry, even with someone like Aussie John Simons, warning of the risk of a recession from Labor's particular policy. And we've also seen from the leading credit rating agencies that if there was a sharp fall in investor demand in the housing sector, that this could have a knock-on effect into the real economy and that it could imperil our AAA credit rating. Now, that is not something that Australians want or need or deserve, but it is something that the Labor Party, with their $200 billion of new taxes, including their new housing tax, could see.
Just one more on superannuation. Labor says that if you wanted to earn their backing for your proposed super laws, you would have put it up for a vote in the Senate last year. Why didn't you?
Well, the Labor, we obviously need the support of the Labor Party or a sufficient number of crossbenchers to get this policy through. We're continuing to talk to people on the crossbench, but for the Labor Party, why don't they get behind this policy that has been endorsed by the Productivity Commission? It's actually about the Labor Party who are saying they don't support the coalition's policy. It's the Labor Party who are denying the interests of all those members in the superannuation system.